This morning, CBS 12 News is bringing you the second in our ongoing series of reports of the rise of anti-Semitism in America.
Today, we introduce you to the USC Shoah Foundation, our partners on this project, which was started by Steven Spielberg after he produced the film Schindler's List.
The foundation is dedicated to stopping genocide in all its forms and preserving the stories of Holocaust survivors whose memories of the war and perspective on the challenges we're facing today are woven throughout this special coverage. This is part 2 of Hate Rising: Anti-Semitism in America.
What does the word Shoah mean?
Shoah is the Hebrew word for the Holocaust. It is so important to have recorded and to continue recording the survivors of all of these various genocides and mass crimes against humanity. And so the Holocaust is the one that is sort of been the model that people have been generating the vocabulary around, because it's the first one where we had sort of the technology, whether it was video, photography, all these things to record everything that happened. And all of this memory needs to be used to teach, because the way that we stop hate is by humanizing other folks. And the way we humanize them is in these face-to-face kinds of conversations. And we want to do that as much as possible with the video we have so that people learn from all of these horrors, do them less, and then researchers can also learn why they happen.
My name is Max Markowitz, M-A-R-K-O-V-I-T-Z. I was born in Czechoslovakia. One morning, 2 soldiers came in. One was a German soldier, and they said to me, "You have to leave home with another 15-20 minutes to be on the street in front of our house." And they told us not to take too much, one small suitcase.
If you were put in a ghetto, it meant usually very high concentrations of people in a very small area. They were not allowed to leave. They had to somehow feed themselves and sustain themselves in an environment you couldn't get out. Your measure of horror and nightmare is not exclusively the concentration camps and extermination camps. It's the ghetto life and the disease and the cold and the hiding in woods and the sheer terror of this all. I mean, every story and circumstance, and there are a multitude of these, brought with fear and terror and horror.
My name is Fanny Narodsky. I was born in Borschtov. I was with my grandmother in the house, and I suddenly heard screaming and shouting, and it was in German. And I went to the window, and I had a little chair, and I stood on the chair to look through the window. And I saw a motorcycle, 2 Nazis on the motorcycle. And I saw a woman crawling on the pavement with a shot in her left shoulder and the baby in her right arms. My grandmother ran to me and covered my eyes, took me away from the window. And they killed that baby by throwing the baby towards the wall.
After the movie Schindler's List, Steven Spielberg got together with his team and started doing the interviews and collecting them, and it's just had a phenomenal impact. What the testimony is about is humanizing, making sure that we look at other people and we're like, oh, that's a human being, and it's much harder to hurt another human being.
My name is Marie Steinaway. I was born in Brussels, Belgium. When we were taken from the house and put on the train, the next step was Camp de Gurs. Camp de Gurs was a depot for us to be taken to actual concentration camps. It wasn't a pleasure place. It wasn't a happy place. You're waiting for a bomb to burst or a balloon because you felt something's going to happen.
Were you afraid of being taken away from your mother and your sister?
Yes, because you're alone. I don't know if you can understand, but you feel trapped trapped. It's like some people do to animals. They trap them. They can't move. They can do this. They hurt. It wasn't a very good time. But here I am to tell you.
This was in civilized society. This was, a sophisticated Europe where 6 million Jews were murdered, annihilated. 2/3 of European Jewry were decimated. And it didn't start with the gas chambers. It started with words, with acts, with legislation, where hatred of Jews became tolerated and accepted.
And that national culture of hate led to human slaughter on a massive scale, an industry of murder devoted to eradicating men, women, and children as quickly as it could possibly be done. In the end, 6 million Jewish people lost their lives before the Allies put a stop to it.
In part 3 of our series Thursday, we'll be hearing more firsthand accounts from survivors of the Holocaust, as well as the riveting story of one of the first American soldiers to set foot in an extermination camp in Poland.
Thank you for staying with us through these. We know these stories can be difficult to watch, but we believe they're important to tell. 5:03, now to the growing efforts in Lake Worth Beach this morning to save a landmark restaurant, Benny's on the Beach.
The community members are expected to peacefully protest tonight ahead of the city commission meeting to make it known they want leaders to work out a way to keep the restaurant from closing. Commissioners voted about 2 weeks ago not to approve a new lease proposal.
Let's get to our Stephanie Valderrama now. She is standing by with what some community members hope to get out of today. Stephanie, good morning.
Yes, good morning, Matt and Sam. People in Lake Worth Beach have been up in arms about saving the iconic landmark and really staple of that community. Now, Benny's on the Beach has been around since 1986. Take a look. This petition that has been circulating online now has more than 3,800 signatures this morning. People who want to prevent the restaurant from closing, and they are holding a peaceful protest tonight. Now, I spoke with Ryan Miller. He's a resident of Lake Worth Beach, and he's the one organizing this protest. He says he hopes it sends a strong message to city leaders. Take a listen.
I'm a resident in the city. I love this city. I love Benny's, and I think they were treated unfairly. I mean, Lake Worth, they need this. I mean, we don't have many things like this, So yeah, it is a slap in the face.
Many people in Lake Worth Beach started making calls to the mayor and city leaders after commissioners voted not to approve the restaurant's lease back in mid-April. The mayor says some leaders felt it should have included a higher rent increase. Now, that peaceful protest is happening before the city meeting in front of City Hall at 5:30 today. The community is invited to attend.